Hey, what are you doing? How's it going? Nick Digilio here. That's me. How are you? Hey, a nice face. It's good. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. There's like 9,000 videos here. I don't know how many, but check them out. Scroll down. They date back almost a year. Lots of topics, lots of fun stuff. Make sure you donate some dough. Please do that. It helps out a lot. Everything I do, from my podcast to these videos to the extra stuff that's available at Patreon, it's all free. So be cool. Be a cool person. $3, $5, $25 a month. Donate now. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Patreon.com/NickDShow. Quick video as I'm heading out in just a couple of minutes. But I've been noticing that this horror movie called Barbarian has been getting like rave reviews since its release. It came out. It actually opens today. But the early reviews have been amazing, and people have been going nuts over it and saying that it's original, and it's one of the most original kick-to-the-head horror movies. It's very clever, and it's right, one of the greatest, like horror film director debuts of all time, although the guy directed a couple of other movies. And that it's consistently filled with surprises, and it will shock you, and you will never know what's going on, and the twists and the turns, and it's scary, and it's this, and it's funny, and blah, blah, blah. So it's getting unbelievable rave reviews for this movie called Barbarian. And I would just like to say that it sucks. I'm a horror fanatic. I know horror movies. I've been watching horror movies. I'm 57 years old. I've been watching horror movies for probably 56 and a half years. And this movie, Barbarian, is not good. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if somebody put something in the water that all of these people and these reviewers have drank. I didn't drink the Kool-Aid on this one. Now, granted, there are a lot of surprises in it. There are a lot of twists that would be bad to spoil. So I'm not going to spoil it. This is a very quick video because I am just astonished that this fucking movie is getting the critical praise and the darling and the love that it's getting, because it sucks. It's a piece of shit. So this is the first time I've seen a movie, specifically a horror movie, because I'm a horror fanatic. Now, I see a lot of movies where a lot of critics have gone apeshit over them, and I kind of sit around and go, wait a minute, what? I don't understand that. But I feel that I know the horror community. I feel that I am one of the tribe. In fact, I'm kind of an elder statesman in the world of horror. I will say this, I'll toot my own horn. I fucking know horror movies. I know them. I know what's good about them. I know what's bad about them. I am an expert in the horror film department. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just spouting out some facts. If anybody on this planet knows a good horror movie from a bad horror movie, it's fucking me. And Barbarian is a bad horror movie. You people are drunk. You people are nuts. You people are easily amused and easily entertained. And apparently this movie has done that. Quickly, Barbarian is directed by the guy who is one of the founders of a smart-ass comedy troupe called The Whitest Kids You Know. They had a TV series on either, I can't remember what, IFC or one of those channels, or Sundance. And they're like a bunch of guys who got together to do skits, if you will. Notice I use the word skits, not sketches, because I want to piss people off who like them or were part of the whitest kids in the world. Anyway, they're like one of millions of very forgettable white guy, whitest kids you know, sketch comedy. And this guy is responsible for that. He made a movie called Miss March, which was a wacky comedy from about 10 years ago or so, even 11 years ago, which starred a couple of the guys from The Whitest Kids You Know, and it was a wacky comedy about somebody trying to track down a playmate. And it was exactly, and I actually thought the movie was funny. I actually thought it was pretty funny. And there were there were certain things that these guys did that I thought were funny. So as a smart-ass, lower-tier comedy troupe, sketch improv comedy troupe, they were pretty funny. But that doesn't mean this dildo can make movies. Can make horror movies, because he can't. So anyway, the movie's I'm not going to give away any of the plot. It twists and it turns and it, a lot of stuff. But the simplest plot is, girl shows up in the middle of the night in a Detroit, in a suburb of Detroit, very rundown, terrible neighborhood in Detroit, and shows up at this house that she has rented as an Airbnb. Someone's already in there. Bill Skarsgård, who played Pennywise in It, he's the guy who's in there. And it turns out, oh my God, we've got the same reservation. He's already staying there. She decides she's going to stay. The weather is bad. The neighborhood is bad. So he's like, well, you sleep in the bedroom. I'll sleep out here. And in the morning, we'll call up these idiots at the Airbnb, the two apps that they used, figure it out, blah, blah, blah. So she stays the night. Things get weird. Oh, can we trust this guy? He tries to give her some wine. Oh, is this really bad? Oh, and then there's something in the basement. They end up looking in the basement, and there are these caverns and weird things in the basement. There's clearly something weird and horrible living in that basement. And then the shit hits the fan from there. And then it focuses on a different character a little bit later on, played by Justin Long. And then another character a little bit later on where they flash back to something to explain the origin of the creature and the weirdness that's happening in the subterranean tunnels and the basement underneath this Airbnb rented house in Detroit. The movie tries to take on a bunch of topics, including satirizing Hollywood, including satirizing racism, talking about misperceptions of character, and it also hugely tries to take on the Me Too movement and make a statement about the Me Too movement and really toxic white maleness. The toxicity of being a white male, and it takes on all of this stuff, and it tries to take on this and make all these statements about these things, both satirically and horrifically. And it fails on every motherfucking level. Every level. It's not scary at all. Granted, the way that the movie is structured is very unpredictable. It pops from one story to a different story very abruptly, and it does it very unpredictably. So the way that the movie is structured is very unpredictable. Yet there's not one fucking surprise in the movie. There is nothing surprising about this movie. Nothing that happens in this movie besides the fact that the director and the writer, same idiot, pulls the rug out from under you because you're following one character's story and then suddenly it juxtaposed and goes to a completely different location and a completely different character. So the screenplay is structured very unpredictably, and yet there is not one surprise generated from it. It is cliche after cliche after cliche. The way it's filmed, the way it's shot, it's not suspenseful. It's not scary. The main problem is you do not give a shit about anybody who is in any kind of danger. There is nothing suspenseful about this movie. There is nothing scary about this movie. The characters are either one-dimensional dipshits, the dumbest people in the world. You know how when you scream, sometimes you see bad horror movies and you go, oh my God, is this character stupid? This moron deserves to die. That's every single character in Barbarian. Every single character in Barbarian is either a complete moron who's like, okay, you're a fucking idiot, you going over here, you doing this, you deserve to die. They're either a complete moron or they're a one-dimensional stereotype that was written like it was written, I don't know, in a sketch comedy, or they are complete assholes. They are characters that you couldn't even remotely like. Despite the fact that one of these assholes is played by Justin Long. He's the best thing in the movie, and he plays it for laughs, which is the little things that work in the movie are the ones that Justin Long does. But he's playing it as though he's in a sketch comedy, a one-dimensional sketch comedy that should not last for more than 6 minutes. This movie's almost 2 hours long. It is a bad sketch comedy version of a horror film that tries to satirize targets that are very, very fucking easy to satirize, but fails miserably. It feels like a movie that's directed by a guy, written and directed by a guy who has never written and directed a horror movie before, but has worked on dumb 3-minute sketch comedies with other dumb 3-minute sketch comedy-minded artists. That's what this movie feels like. It feels like a movie written and directed by a guy who's never made a horror movie before, and it feels like a movie that is written and directed by some jagoff who makes bad sketch comedy. That's what this movie is, populated with unlikable, stupid, asshole characters that you don't care about. The creature or the horror element of it is supposed to be poignant and supposed to be original, but the storyline in that regard, explaining who the character is, the background, the history of what's going on underneath the house in the caverns with the scary creature who could come out of the shadows and kill you at any moment, That's been done a million times before. There's nothing original about it. It's not scary. The creature itself, ridiculous, not scary. What it does to people, in terms of like attacking and murdering, that goes from not scary to been done before to ridiculously ridiculous, to the point where the violence and the like heads get ripped apart and all that kind of shit. By that point in the movie, I was trying to stay awake, but by that point in the movie, when it attempts to be gory and in your face and oh my god, look at the gore and the blood and the weirdness, and the uncomfortable visuals and the gory, disgusting looking character, when it tries to do that and be scary and in your face, it's not fucking scary. It's not fucking scary. By that point, I was like, what time is this over? Because I could get a nap right now watching this piece of shit. But for some reason, so then it's over. So it's a satire that fails at satirizing. Very easy targets. It is a horror movie with a made-up, makeup-filled, weird-looking, scary little villain that tries to explain it and give it heart, but it doesn't work. It's a movie that tries to be socially conscious and make statements about where we are right now as people, and it doesn't work. And on the simplest of levels, it's not scary, it's not suspenseful. There is not a moment in this movie where I was on the edge of my seat. There's not a moment in this movie where I was like, I've seen this before, this is not scary, this is boring, this is fucking stupid. And the movie is populated by characters that you do not give one fucking shit about. Every character in this movie is either stupid or an asshole, and you can't wait till they die. So there's no emotion involved in it. It goes through the paces, and despite the fact that it goes way out of its way to try and be surprising and twisty, and then on top of that it tries to be socially relevant and satirical, it fails on every fucking level that it attempts to be. It is a terrible movie. And for all the people out there who are going apeshit over Barbarian, there's something wrong with you. This is a terrible movie, clearly made by someone who's never made a horror movie before, clearly made by some jagoff from a weird, relatively unfunny sketch comedy group. It feels like a bunch of jagoffs in a room said, a sketch comedy room, hey dude, remember when we were standing on stage and someone said, horror movie, and we improvised this stupid thing about this creature in a cavern? Let's make a stupid ass movie out of that, populated by uninteresting asshole or dumb characters, and structure it so that it feels like you're being tricked and being surprised, but in fact you're not. And people will, they will do it. They will drink the Kool-Aid and they will love it. Barbarian's a terrible movie. If you like it, you're dumb. I don't understand it. There's something going on. Somebody was hypnotized. I don't understand it at all. So I hope I've cleared this up for you. But as an expert in the horror film world, and I like to say that I'm also an expert in probably sketch comedy, in terms of like the fact that I've been watching Saturday Night Live for 47 years and I studied at Second City. I worked at the Factory Theater. I know comedy and I know horror, and this is neither. So I wanted to make this clear. I wanted people to know that there is another voice out here, and I'm the right voice. Despite the fact that the majority of people who've seen this movie have gone apeshit and inexplicably have loved this film, I'm here to say that Barbarian is a piece of shit. It's not a good movie at all. It's not even remotely close to being a good movie. And despite the fact that it's structured unpredictably, there's not a surprise in it. There's nothing surprising about it. There's nothing shocking about it. And everything that it attempts, especially to the satire and especially the gore and the horror, none of it works. Justin Long has a couple of moments in it because he plays such a Me Too, fucking asshole guy. He's got a couple of moments where I went, but that's it. Barbarian, not a good horror movie. Barbarian, not a good movie. Barbarian, not a good satire. Not scary. Absolutely fucking dreck. So, you'll be hearing all kinds of, oh my god, it's great, it's so surprising, oh, don't tell anybody, don't ruin it. And I didn't ruin it. I gave you no spoilers. I am just telling you right now that despite the fact that a lot of people are really liking Barbarian, it sucks. And that was just a quick review because don't see Barbarian. Jesus Christ. Don't.